The new digital media landscape, I think it is so vast. I like to say, I believe we're in a gold rush. I believe we're in a time when we will look back 20 years from now and see nothing but explosion of options. And you talk about key players, it's an interesting question because you have big players right now, like you mentioned the Huffington Post, you mentioned a platform like Twitter, we know, say, the dominance of the iPhone. But any day, any one of us with a little training could create an app that could revolutionize the use of the iPhone. So the interesting thing, I tend to not think about sort of the Bigfoot player, except maybe what are they doing that I can model in my own small way, or with the idea that I have, because as you said, it is fluid. Any of us can find our little niche, and out of the millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of people, remember now, our audience is now global. If you put in All About Race, a Chinese site will come up. My site in Chinese will come up, which I think is just wonderful. So if I can create something that people want to buy or want to experience, I can become a global phenomenon regardless of who the big players are. Do you understand? So that's my take on it.
Okay, Zadi? I mean, you have an online television show, so you must have a sense of what it is that people are looking for in your market or more broadly.
I guess with my experience, my sense of what the media landscape now is to me, it's more disruptive media, so that, mass media or traditional media is kind of shaken up a little bit because you have all these voices and people are producing their own content, and some of it is seen much more than the traditional TV show in one night. You get one video that's millions of views and people don't understand what that means, and they try to replicate it, but it can't be replicated. So I think there's a lot of confusion right now as to what, for the traditional folk, what do we do? What does that mean to our careers? I've spent 20 years kind of fostering a career, and all of a sudden I find myself completely irrelevant. So I think that the media that we're creating now is completely disruptive in that way. It creates a lot of opportunities, which in my case was great, but at the same time it's really, you find yourself kind of just treading water sometimes because you just don't know where you're going to end up, and you're trying to just kind of do it all at once and figure out and kind of assess your skills and your skill set. And as far as the key players that are for me, those are kind of like the hackers, I think to send the people that are tinkering right now, the people that are working away in their garages and basements and using Creative Commons or using Wikipedia and kind of having collaborative, taking a collaborative stance to kind of creating the way that we view information and take it all in. And I think the bigger platforms kind of look at that and then build their own, and then it goes from there. So I think that's the way I kind of look at it.
Okay, Shani?
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same page with everyone pretty much. I think what we can definitely say the digital landscape is participatory. And by that I mean everybody can participate in ways that, and communicate in ways that we haven't experienced before. Media in terms of, what is that? First there was the printing press, and so then they, produced news information through newspapers. It was on a piece of paper and print, and then it went to film, and then the phone. It's a way, and then broadcast TV. It was very much controlled, and a single voice or view was projected to many people. And in the digital landscape nowadays, it is from many to many. It's whoever has something to say, or a viewpoint, or anything, or something they want to document or capture. They have the ability to do that and to communicate with multiple people in the same way, circumventing, that control, that previous control that people had on media. And so, the digital landscape, I think, is incredible. It opens up many opportunities for new voices to participate in this culture of today. And I think the key players are those who choose to participate.
Just to kind of piggyback off the back of that, I think having worked in traditional media for so long, that the beautiful thing about new digital media is the freedom that it really grants the program maker, the journalist, the producer. You're no longer confined to what your editor says is news or what your editor decides isn't news. And I think kind of given this forum as women and as people of colour, of all colours, I know certainly from my experience, and I'm sure the ladies may be able to chime in on this, but quite often trying to get stories that were relevant to my audience, to my community, it became a real fight to get those stories, to even have those stories valued or taken any notice of, unless they were stories about drugs, teenage pregnancy, gang violence, never anything positive. And I was like, that's not my community, that's not something that I lived through and or recognise. The second thing that I would say is really powerful about the new digital media landscape, especially living as a global citizen, as an international, is that I can be here in Los Angeles and still work with people back in the United Kingdom. I can work with people in the Caribbean, I can work with people in the Caribbean, and I can work with people right here in Los Angeles. It's a real sense that you can stay local, but work globally. Putting out things that are important to you, linking in with other people who have the same mindset and are doing exactly the same things. And also, Carmen kind of touched on this, talking about iPhone applications. There's a way that technology really can take us way beyond what we were able to do before. If you're a journalist of a certain age, you might remember using a Ewer or the old kind of reel-to-reel tape recorders that would hurt your shoulders. And you don't have that anymore. You literally can have a tiny little camera like the sister here has got, and you can film your own material. You can take it home, you can edit your own material, you can get a small digital recorder and record your own audio material. Myself and Shani worked over the summer with some youth, and we had some more digital recorders, and it just became a very simple exercise for them because everything is not as expensive as it used to be, and it is accessible. So I think, for me personally, the whole thing about the new digital media landscape is that freedom. You regain your editorial control. You can put out stories that represent your community if that's what you choose. But as Carmen said, you can build your own reputation, you build your own brand, and kind of build your own situation using the words and maintaining your authentic voice in a way, if you're working in traditional media, that you can't do.